All right, thank you very much for keeping it KBC. Remember, we've still continued to value your feedback. I'm seeing so many people are sending in their comments on our social media platforms. Remember, we are live on Facebook and on our website at www.kbc.co.ke. Keep sending in your comments and your thoughts as we continue with this morning conversation. The hashtag is Good Morning Kenya, at Ramaguko, at Dorina Range, at Frame Manyara, and at Jane Wamboi. Now, on the 3rd of May, this year, 2020, on the 23rd of May, 2020, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, President Uhuru Kenyatta, announced the 8-point economic stimulus plan aimed at cushioning the economy against the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, the 8 economic stimulus points include infrastructure, education, small and medium enterprises, health, agriculture, tourism, environment, and manufacturing. Now, we shall be unpackaging this economic stimulus, the 8 economic stimulus points, but we shall also touch on the war on counterfeit. But our areas of focus this morning shall be on 2: the small and medium enterprises and manufacturing, both at which fall under the Ministry of Industrialization, Trade and Enterprise Development. What is it that is the criteria used by the government in this? Well, this morning, let's unpack this economic stimulus. And joining me live right here within Nairobi, I'm joined by Lawrence Karanja, who is the Chief Administrative Secretary, the C.A.S. for Industrialization, Trade and Enterprise Development. Karibu sana Bwana C.A.S. Hope you're well and hope you're fine this morning. Now, let me just quickly head over to the discussion. Let's touch on this SMEs first before we touch on manufacturing and other areas. Well, how has the allocation, because we are having a 10 billion shilling allocation, how has the allocation of these 10 billion shillings to fast track the payment of outstanding VAT refunds and other pending payments process been so far?
The process of payment started on, and what has happened, as you all know, these are the VAT payments were payments which were being
All right, we're having some network issues there connecting with the C.A.S. We shall be linking up with him in a bit once the network is back. Remember, the 8-point stimulus package includes 6.5 billion shillings. That is for the Ministry of Education to hire 10,000 teachers. We have 1,000 interns to support the learning and acquisition of 250,000 locally fabricated desks. We have 10 billion shillings to fast-track payment of outstanding VAT. VAT refunds and other pending payments for SMEs. We have 5 billion shillings to hire local labor for rehabilitation to access roads and footbridges. These are how the stimulus package is going to be spread across different sectors within the nation. So, Amos, do we have the C.A.S.? All right, Bwana C.A.S. So continue from where you left on when it comes to the allocation of the 10 billion shillings. How has the process been so far?
Those were pending claims by people who had supplied goods and services to different people, and the government was their VAT, therefore locking their capital. So what the government is doing is just to gradually release all that money so that the money can go back into the operations of these SMEs. But I would want first to explain what is a stimulus.
Okay.
So that, because we are calling it economic stimulus, that when it comes to economic stimulus, it means that the government is trying to give the small and micro entrepreneurs some extra energy so that they can jump and start moving forward. Because of some reasons, one or another, then they are going to get that extra liquidity. And one of the reasons they were falling short of liquidity was because of the money which was being held as VAT. But that is just one aspect of the small and micro entrepreneurs. You also need to understand that if you look at the 8 economic stimulus, all of them touch the small and micro in each and every aspect. Let's start with the infrastructure. On the infrastructure side, the government has released Kenya shillings 5 billion. The 5 billion is supposed to go to what is called Kazi Mtaani, and it is supposed to, the government is going to recruit first local laborers, that is the youth and the young men in the village, and in the towns, so that they can get extra cash. Remember, a number of these young men and women have lost their jobs because of COVID-19. Therefore, the government is sending that money, recruiting that labor so that they can get some form of employment. Secondly, in the infrastructure, we are also using local materials, that is the bricks, the stones, and other things. These are things which are usually done by the small and micro entrepreneurs, because for small and micro entrepreneurs, it is a wide range of things, ranging from people in hotels, people in the juakari, people in small industries, people in matatu industry, people in transport industry. All those people are small and micro entrepreneurs. Therefore, in the infrastructure, when we are doing the infrastructure, we are recruiting local labor, as I've said, and we are also sourcing for local materials. Therefore, we'll be releasing 5 billion to the Kenyans so that we can cushion them against COVID-19. The second one is on education. On education, there are three aspects. First, as you heard from His Excellency the President, 1,000 teachers, and also 1,000 ICT to assist in digital learning. But beyond that, for the small and micro entrepreneurs, the government, to assist in 100% transition from primary school to secondary school, we need a desk. Therefore, the government is going to buy 250,000 desks from these local Juakari people who will be fabricating those desks and supplying them to the school. Therefore, we'll be again supporting the small and micro entrepreneurs. And you know, it is a chain, because when you're buying the desk, the person, it is right from the desk, the person supplying the raw materials, the person who is being employed in that Juakari shed. So the ripple effect goes down to the lowest person. So that is why the government is buying those 250,000 desks locally. The key factor is that they are locally fabricated desks. We are not going to get any importation. We must fabricate them locally. So if you want to supply desks to the school, you must fabricate them locally. The third one is what I started with, about the VAT refund. And we have said the money is supposed to release extra liquidity to the liquidity to the small and micro entrepreneurs whose VAT refunds were being held by the government. And this is a total of Kenya shillings 10 billion, which has already started and should be completed very soon, because the money has already been released.
And
the
even
fourth
as talk about the completion,
the small and micro entrepreneurs, as you heard, His Excellency the President on 23rd and again on 6th indicated that each county is supposed to have 300 beds for 300 beds for to cater for people who might get infected by COVID-19. The government has given directions, and that in support of this, all the beds should be bought from the local Juakari people. That is locally fabricated beds. Therefore, if you multiply 300 by 47 counties, those are about over 13,000 beds, which should be bought by the hospitals to equip these COVID centers.
Now, Bwana C.A.S, let me interject you from there.
It is distributed.
Yes. All right. Sorry, let me interject at that point. Yes. You've mentioned about the 10 billion shillings that has been there in infrastructure payment of outstanding VAT. But now, let me still touch on this, where the government has so far released 30 billion shillings towards payment of pending bills in the road sector. And so what is the calculated procedure in the distribution of this, and how is the process going to reflect, regardless of this pandemic?
Okay, towards the payments of the pending bills in the road sector, one, those must be the bills which have gone through the process of validation, and they have been validated and found to be due and payable. Therefore, that is what is being allocated as per what has been the work which has been paid, and it has been found to be due and payable. So that is the money which is being paid for the work already done by the contractors, especially the ones who are engaged by the ones by Kura and by Kera, the ones who are mainly doing our roads in the urban areas and also in the rural areas, and they had pending bills. So their payments have now been released.
All right, and speaking on that, the president also announced an injection of 3 billion shilling SME credit guarantee scheme, as part of this also economic stimulus package. What is how does it look like with the injection of these 3 billion Kenyan shillings towards the guarantee scheme, considering that most Kenyan SMEs are not even, some are not registered? So the question will be, how are they going to be proceeding to distributing these grants? Is there any criteria that is being used in the distribution of all these grants?
I need maybe to explain, Lam, what is credit guarantee.
Yes, please do.
Credit guarantee means that it is a facility whereby the government guarantees the financial institutions that if they lend money to small and micro entrepreneurs and they are not able to pay, then the government will come and mitigate the loss they might incur. How is this going to assist the small and micro entrepreneurs? It is going to assist them because the banks will be more flexible when evaluating the potential borrowers, knowing that the government has already given some guarantee. Therefore, where they were applying very, very stringent measures before releasing loan to small and micro entrepreneurs, they are being told now the government is giving them a guarantee of 3 billion. But that means it's like the government is directly injecting 3 billion to small and micro entrepreneurs. But the loan will be through commercial banks. But the government will guarantee that these commercial banks or institutions, in case of default, they will not lose their money. Therefore, it will make it easier for small and micro entrepreneurs to access credit facilities from the banks.
All right, thank you very much for that. We have 75% at least of the small and medium entrepreneurs risk closure by the end of this month. This is according to the statistics that were released by the CBK. We're talking about lack of funds because of this COVID-19. And so far, as a ministry, what plans do you have in place to ensure accountability during all these processes, putting into consideration that SMEs are losing their jobs, we are losing SMEs, we are losing profit, we are going at a loss as we continue?
For SMEs,
yes,
as most of them, you'll find some are organized, whereas others are individuals. Some are groups. SMEs, there are some who do their work in groups, others in companies, and others as individuals. When if they want some assistance, there must be some proactive action by the SMEs. That means we will have, we say that the money is available through commercial banks, they'll have to make a step towards approaching those banks, and then they are assessed, they are evaluated, and they are also given advice on how to assess the loans and even how to manage their business. Secondly, we have our organization within the ministry. We have one micro and small enterprise authority, which is key in that it offers training, it is also having a kitty of 630 million, which is supposed to be lent out to small and micro entrepreneurs. Number 3, we have Kenya Industrial Estate, and you saw it in the in the stimulus. KIE was also given money because Kenya Industrial Estate deal with those manufacturers and small-scale manufacturers who want a credit facility of up to 20 million, from 0 to 20 million. Therefore, those agencies and organizations are able to evaluate and find and advise us that this person deserves or this person is not deserving. But that is why I said we have the credit guarantee in case of those people, because of what they have gone through, they are not able to qualify. We are telling the financial institution to relax the rule a bit so that these people or those small and micro entrepreneurs can access credit.
Now, but still, please expound in regards to accountability. How are we going to ensure accountability throughout this whole process?
First, as I said, especially on the money will be through our organized institutions. It's not that it is coming, there is a new establishment which is going to manage that kitty or the fund. First, as I've said, one, on the issue of accountability, we are liaising with commercial banks and commercial institutions which will be administering the fund. Therefore, they have to carry due diligence and file a comprehensive report on what they found before they dispersed and before they dispersed the money. 2, our organizations, that is what we have said, KIE and micro and small enterprise, they have structures which are already established such that if one want to apply for credit or for financing, this is the process he is going through. So there will be an evaluation process, and once you qualify, then you are granted the facility. And 2, even thereafter, they will be having monitoring and evaluation process, because we'll be monitoring and evaluating the people who have been granted the money and seeing what they are doing with it. Because the question here is that for the SMEs, these are not grants. We are financing them, but at a very, very, very low cost. Not the commercial rates, at almost 0 cost.
So you, just to follow up on that, you've said that for the SMEs, these are not grants. Do we have any grants on this stimulus package just to clear the air?
Yes.
Yes.
For now, what we do, they are not grants. The only people who will be able to, okay, sorry, what I'll say is this: everything we are granting are soft loans to assist the people to come back to business.
All right. Now, the latest data, according to the Kenya Federation of Employers, shows that at least 342,300 jobs have been lost in the last 2 months. We are also having companies likely to continue laying off their employees. Now, the real GDP growth in 2020 could slow to about 2.3% from 5.4% in 2019. This is according to what the CBK Governor, Dr. Patrick Njoroge, said. But now, what should the SMEs on the ground do when it comes to these facts being felt? Should all these people, Kenyans, be assured of a better tomorrow, looking at the package and how it is so far?
I want to assure Kenyans that we have a brighter tomorrow for one reason. After COVID came, you have seen the level of innovation by Kenyans. Most of them have changed their business to adapt to the new changes. The SMEs, their market mainly is the local market. And of course, there are a few of them who do export. But the local market has shrunk a bit because of the diminishing financial position of the customers, the people who are supposed to be buying. Some of them have lost jobs. But we are saying with the few things we are doing, we are creating market for SMEs. Two, there are new opportunities which are emerging. There are those goods which you used to import. We are asking the SMEs to look at that as an opportunity, and they start manufacturing those goods so that all those things can be available locally. So it is an opportunity also for us. We have also looked at it at ourselves and internally and seen the capacity we have as Kenyans, such that we don't have to import everything. We have a lot of things we can manufacture and locally, and that is the opportunity, and that is a challenge for the local SMEs. There are also new emerging opportunities. For instance, e-commerce has come out very well during this time of COVID. So that is another area we need to look at and see it as an opportunity to grow, because it has huge potential.
All right. You've touched on one thing, manufacturing, and the government also set aside an initial investment of 600 million Kenyan shillings to purchase locally manufactured vehicles. Now, in this is the strategy aimed to enforce the policy Buy Kenya, Build Kenya. And now, Bwana C.A.S, how has the process been so far?
Yes. I'll just take you back to the process of Buy Kenya, Build Kenya. We have been encouraging Kenyans to buy locally manufactured goods, not just vehicles. And that is the policy behind Buy Kenya, Build Kenya. We have been encouraging people to buy and wear locally manufactured clothes, etc., etc. Now, when it comes to the vehicles, these vehicles are locally assembled. And even if they are locally assembled, some of the components are imported. But there is a huge component of those vehicles which is locally manufactured. In fact, about 30 to 40% of those vehicles are manufactured locally. Therefore, when we say 600 million is going towards the purchase of locally manufactured vehicles, that means about 30% of that money is being injected to a SME who supply those vehicle assemblers with some parts which are manufactured or locally. Number two, those assemblers, the fact that they are doing their assembly here means that they have employed Kenyans in their factories. Their companies will still continue learning and giving our people employment. So that is the reason behind buying those vehicles, so that we can support those people who supply, especially the local people who supply the 40% of the component of the content of those vehicles.
Now, Bwana C.A.S, I'm looking at the sustainability of these solutions that we are getting so far. What is its sustainability on the local motor vehicle manufacturers and the attendant employment of workers?
And as you said, this is a stimulus. This is a package. This is not. This is a short-term plan as we plan of post-COVID, because we are saying we are in COVID for quite some time. So we don't want to lose. We don't want to lose employment or to kill our business because of COVID. We want to sustain them so that when COVID ends, or whatever stage we decide how do we live with COVID, then these people will not have this business will not have died. We want to sustain them so that we go post-COVID with them.
All right. So you're saying that the stimulus package is not permanent per se; it is a temporary solution for now.
A stimulus can never be permanent. You cannot have, it is to stimulate. You cannot keep on stimulate. A person cannot be on stimulants forever.
Yes,
so you
yes.
stimulate for a short time, then he takes over. He takes off. Therefore, we are saying this is to take care of the COVID period. Once COVID is over, we'll go back to normal and we'll go on with our business. We'll have mechanism which we shall put in place after COVID.
All right, yes. So, Bonus, yes, this is in regards to, because we are trying to make Kenyans understand what a stimulus package could be. Thank you very much for that clarification. It is not permanent, it is temporary. That's why it is a stimulus package. But now you've touched on manufacturing, and I'd like to still touch on one thing that is affecting the manufacturing sector: counterfeit goods. So far, how far are you when it comes to fighting in the war against counterfeit, because counterfeit goods are killing our local manufacturers? How can we ensure that we protect our local manufacturers?
When it comes to counterfeit, it is a menace which we must deal with ruthlessly. Because the counterfeiters, what they do is that they relied on other people's intellectual property. People invest, they innovate, they develop products, they spend a lot of money, and then they market their product. Once the products get into the market and it is now selling, that is when the counterfeiters eat. And that's what we said. It's only that the name appeared as a very, very nice name, calling somebody counterfeiter. But this, simply you call them, these are thieves of intellectual property. Those are the people who are called counterfeiters. They steal intellectual property. They steal other people's brain. They steal other people's labor. They steal other people's work. And then they package it as their own product, riding on the goodwill and the blood names of those products which are already in the market. But as you all know, this is a threat to trade, because
all right, some network issue there connecting with the C.A.S. All right, I'm seeing it's back. All right, so Bona C.A.S, continue from where you left. Yes? Oh,
I was saying,
yes,
counterfeiters do. They are a great threat to business, because they steal because the counterfeiters.
Just continue. We can hear you.
Okay, so you can hear me now.
Yes, I can hear
you. I was saying they are a threat to business, because one, these people have invested in time and money to develop those products. Therefore, they are not able to recoup their investment. Two, the products, when they come here, those counterfeits are extremely cheap. Therefore, they cannot compete with a genuine product. Okay. Therefore, they are likely to put out of business the genuine investors.
All right. Now,
number three,
yes,
you cannot be assured of the quality of these counterfeits. Many at times, they are a threat to life, that is, they have health hazard, and others are quality, because some of them are foodstuff, others are drugs, others are electronics, others are building materials, motor vehicle components. You cannot be assured of their quality. Therefore, they can cause buildings to collapse because of the poor quality, cause accidents if it's motor vehicle spare parts, and life-threatening diseases if it's drugs or food. The fourth one is that these counterfeiters, they are some of the people who finance criminal gangs, including terrorists. Therefore, this is a war we have to continue fighting. And what the government has done is to create a multi-agency task force to fight counterfeiters. And that is so that we can get them, whether they are in the field, whether they are at the point of entry, at the port, where they are in the shops, they go down. And once we seize them, we have no choice. We first arrest the counterfeiters, prosecute them, and then thereafter we destroy all those goods which have been confiscated. We also encourage the brand owners to sue those counterfeiters to recover what they have lost because of counterfeiting. Now, in the last 5 years, so that you can see the level of how it has affected our country, we have confiscated goods through Kenya Anti-Counterfeit Authority and the multi-agency. We have confiscated goods worth 3 billion shillings. That is in the last 5 years. So that gives you about almost between 6 and 800 million worth of goods every year. What we are doing now is that we have started destroying them. Last week we destroyed some at EPZ. Next week we intend to destroy some in Eldoret and thereafter move to Mombasa. The goods in Mombasa of 100 million, the same case too. What the goods are in Eldoret, and you can see most of them are confiscated at the point of entry because most of the counterfeits are imported. Of course, we also have local counterfeiters, but majority of counterfeiters are people who import counterfeit goods, and majority of them are actually substandard.
Now, Bwana C.A.S, it is a fact that at some point the policy Buy Kenya, Build Kenya will be affected by counterfeit goods. But now, how has it been when it comes to that affecting that policy Buy Kenya, Build Kenya in terms of the branding that we have as a nation, bearing in mind that this war has against counterfeit has been there for a very, very long time now?
When it comes to the war against counterfeit, especially on Buy Kenya, Build Kenya, we have enhanced our enforcement measures. One, that is one of the most effective way is through surveillance, market surveillance, where we are spending quite some money on surveillance to get people who are counterfeiting, because locally we also have very, very, very serious counterfeiters who are killing our Buy Kenya, Build Kenya. Two, we are also coming with the very punitive penalties for counterfeiters. And we are also investing on research and policy to ensure that we are effective in fighting against counterfeits. But mainly we rely on our investigations and market surveillance. And we get a lot of information from also from the Kenyans who report to us that there are some people who are counterfeiting. So it is it's an approach which require all of us. That is both Kenyans of goodwill and government agencies. Otherwise, without some information from Kenyans, we may not win the war against counterfeit. And the Kenyans, we are also encouraging them. Once you notice counterfeit, you report to us, and then we go for those people who are counterfeiting.
All right. Now, we have touched on SMEs and manufacturing, Bwana C.A.S, and it's how it is captured in the stimulus package. Now, putting all of this now, in touching on the SMEs and the manufacturing, your aim is to provide affordable credit and providing a cushion towards the effects of this COVID-19. How long should Kenyans wait? How long will it be till they start feeling the effects or the the products of this stimulus package, in your own prediction?
The effect of the stimulus, I want to say it is it will be almost immediate. But I want to caution Kenyans, we are not sure, nobody is sure globally for how long we shall be in this state of COVID. Therefore, for us, we now as Kenyans need to agree on how to work within COVID or to live with COVID.
No, but yes, my question is in regards to the stimulus package.
To them very soon. For this reason,
yes.
If it is the beds which are being ordered, that is about 12,000 beds by the county governments. that's almost immediately. If it is the schools, the desks which are being the 250,000 desks, that is again immediately. The credit guarantee is now available. Therefore, it is a matter of educating them on how to assess the credit facilities. Once they are informed, I am certain that the effect will be felt almost immediately.
All right, thank you very much. So final question, because of interest of time, just expound to us, what are your recommendations or your call to actions to all the Kenyans who are watching you this morning?
My point one, for the Kenyans, let's look at ourselves, let's evaluate yourself and see the potential we have. Especially, COVID has taught us that we have capacity, and I want to say this because look at how our Kenyans responded very, very quickly with innovation about masks. When COVID broke out, we did not have masks, but within no time, tailors from every corner, manufacturers, people in the textile industry, all of them came together, and I believe as of now we have no shortage of face masks. Look at the issue of the ventilators. We have developed from various institutions, that is, we have our institutions, that is Toyota Kenya, that's Kenya Association of Manufacturers, the Dan Kimathi University, Kenyatta University, and various other people who have come up with prototyped ventilators. That tells you that we have that capacity. And I look at it, when I look at the issue of ventilators, the mask, and also some technology which has been developed on contact tracing, it tells you that our capacity is unlimited. And we should take advantage of COVID so that we can reinvent ourselves and support our local manufacturers. And we say that our manufacturers have the capacity to almost meet our domestic needs. We don't need to look outside, even for some basic things which can be done here. Let us develop our own industry. Let's develop our own juakari. Let's support our own juakari. Let's support our local industries. And that way, we are going to achieve the big four agendas, especially the agenda on manufacturing. It will only be achieved if we support local manufacturers. Otherwise, if we keep importing, we shall kill ourselves and we will be killing our economy. So my wake-up call is to ask our people to be innovative. Look at COVID as an opportunity, not as a challenge. Let them grab this opportunity such that when COVID comes, we'll be self-sufficient and we'll be importing extremely little but exporting to other countries.
Bwana C.A.S, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate your presence. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Absolutely.
All right, that was Lawrence Karanja, the C.A.S for Industrialization, Trade and Entrepreneurship and Enterprise Development, speaking to us, unpackaging the economic stimulus. And amongst these economic stimulus also is education.